One of the many advantages to attending high school in the Sioux Falls School District is access to programs, to advanced classes, to a variety of extracurricular opportunities, and to courses that meet student interest. In some cases, students are learning skills or trades with top-of-the-line equipment that professionals in the field might not even be using yet. By the time this next senior gets to college, in that respect alone, he'll be 2 years ahead of many of his peers. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to New Technology High School, where one senior has found a way to turn his interests into skills that are benefiting him and everyone around him.
So there's 3 things that you need to accomplish. You need to find the force of gravitational attraction between the Earth and the Moon, between you and your shoulder partner, and then you need to find surface gravity on your planet.
This is how physics is taught at New Technology High School.
Right now we're working on a problem-based learning set. So they are going to send a spaceship off to another planet using a home and transfer orbit similar to the movie The Martian. And they are going to make their spaceship have a centripetal acceleration that'll match the acceleration due to gravity on their destination planet using circular motion. They're also going to use Kepler's laws, which is a big standard, and then the universal gravitation formula to find the forces involved in their trip. They're in a group of 4, so they, depending on the day, they'll work with a back partner, a shoulder partner, or they'll all work together. So today, when you came and observed, they were working. It was actually an independent assignment, but they had the support of their shoulder partner, and you can kind of see that at our school. They're used to that.
I actually really like the project we're doing right now because we're dealing with centripetal force in gravity. And so what we're doing is we're designing a spaceship that has a circular area that has to spin at a certain speed, at a certain velocity, so that there's the right proper amount of gravity for the planet that we're going to. So my group has Jupiter, and so we're conditioning our astronauts to go to Jupiter's gravity, which is actually like 24 meters, which is the acceleration due to gravity is like 24 meters a second squared. So that's like over twice as much of Earth's gravity. And so we have to spin pretty fast. And that's just fun to apply that to something that's kind of whimsical, but also you're learning it and could actually be a real project.
It's different, and it's exactly what this school is about.
I actually started subbing here while I was working on my degree, and the first day I walked into New Tech, it feels different. And we have a lot of visitors who say the same. When you walk in, you can just feel the difference, and I think what that is our students have become so confident because they are having to present so often and interact with the community so often that we see such huge growth in their communication skills from when they come in to when they graduate. And the way that happens is through the project-based learning. So they're constantly working with other group members, they're constantly working in groups on projects. So they're really having to work through communicating with others, through conflict resolution, planning with others, and then presenting not only to their peers and to their teachers, but also to adult community members who come in to give them feedback or a lot of times even to use the product. And so this just makes their confidence soar. We're a smaller school, and so everybody knows everybody, and I think the students feel really protective of each other, and we all feel like a family, and so I think that is also why the atmosphere feels so different here. It's a family here.
It's what drew Carter here in the first place.
8th grade was a really big year for me. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I'm still not all that sure what I want to do, but and I knew I wanted something different, because I wasn't learning the same way that my classmates were learning. Like while they were like studying, I was applying it. And so I knew I wanted something different. And so I decided to go to New Tech. I figured, what's the worst that happens? And it was a great choice. We learned about New Tech because they had some freshmen go to the schools. And so my 8th grade year, we were all pulled into an assembly, and they had New Tech students come in and talk about what New Tech was like. And I just thought it would work really well for me. I liked the group setting, I liked being able to be a leader, and I really liked hands-on project-based learning, things that I wasn't getting in normal classroom settings. I really liked about New Tech. It's everything that they promise and more. You know, it's all hands-on, and we have such good application to what we're learning that it makes it so much easier to learn it. They don't just teach you about the physics, they give you a problem and they have you solve that problem in with a real-world application. It's just so amazing to work in groups and to have that opportunity.
At New Tech High, the opportunities keep coming.
The one I'm really excited about is coming up. We're gonna roll it out right after we come back from the break. The local Optimist Club approached us and said that they want to create a new contest for students. They have an essay contest. They want to do a new contest, hoping to get even more student involvement, and they want our students to create the contest, come up with what sort of awards really motivate students to apply, what the rules should be, and then their plan is our students will present these contests. So each group will come up with the rules and awards for a contest. They will present it to the group of Optimist members, and then the Optimist Club will choose one of those contests that they will turn around, and their plan is to first roll it out to our students and kind of do the first test run with our students, and then they want to open it up to the rest of the students in the city, and they're hoping that Optimist International will adopt the contest. So we're really, really excited. This will be the first year for that project. We try to involve the community and have a real use for the end product as often as we can, because the students, it gives them a greater sense of responsibility and urgency, and they're super, super proud of themselves in the end when their product ends up being used.
What's the rules for multiplying exponents?
You
were
add
teaching
them?
me this morning.
Yeah, we would
add
add
exponents, then what do you do with the numbers out in front?
Well, that's for multiplying two scientific notations, but for squaring one scientific notation.
Well, what does it mean to sign, or to square?
Yep, I got you. So you just take them two parts.
It's challenging, one, which is fun, and I get to have a lot of freedom in what we look for. I really enjoy bringing in community partners. Just this week we had in 2 people that work at Eros, and they're in charge of making sure the Landsat satellite is operational and how it got into orbit and making sure it's going over the right places. So that's really interesting to meet those people. It's also, for example, right now the pacing behind the younger students and the older ones, just because they're more proficient in mathematics. I was able to ask these upperclassmen in Carter's class to say, what do you guys want to know more about? And they wanted to know how you do a gravitational assist and also the launch windows to different planets. They want to know more about that. And that's not necessarily something I learned in a class in college, so then I get to go look that up or learn with them, which is always kind of fun. I think it's just a different culture.
For Carter, physics is a portion of a rigorous class load.
Well, I start off today with AP Calc. That's a lot of fun. That actually is a lot of fun. My teacher's fantastic. He makes it fun and easy to learn, and I'm with my people I've been with before because we're all accelerated, so we're all in the same classes for math and things of that nature. And then I'm taking online creative writing, which is what I was in right now. After that, I take personal finance, which is really cool because that has a lot of real-world application. We're doing a lot of projects that really matter to me. And then I take physics, which is cool too because there's a lot of really cool application to that as well.
This year, he was invited to participate in Augustana's Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy.
That was super cool because we went every Thursday all day. So I would put an extra thing on my course load, like I mentioned, because I missed all my classes every Thursday. But it was really valuable because I learned a lot about myself and about how I react to certain situations. And it helped me figure out how to be a more forward thinker instead of thinking of problems as issues, more as opportunities. And I got a chance to meet with like-minded people from Roosevelt and be around other like-minded people from here. And it was just a super cool opportunity.
And more than that, Carter has discovered the ability to take his interests and turn them into volunteer opportunities that benefit others. For instance, his role on the robotics team.
I'm part of a team, I've been a part of a team for 4 years now. We're the Fellowship of the Loose Screws, Team 7123. And it's just a bunch of my friends from 8th grade. We knew that we were interested in technology, and we knew this program called First Tech Challenge. And so we just did it. We made a team, and it's a lot of fun. And we compete not in the area because we're one of 3 South Dakota teams, but we compete in Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota. We meet twice a week for a couple hours each meeting, and we build a robot. We also go out and volunteer at the libraries, the pavilion. We go around and we show kids what we do, and we get them interested in science and technology. We had a volunteer event down at the library just last week. We went down after school and we taught kids about circuitry. And we have this really fun activity we do where we've got Play-Doh, and some of it's conductive and some of it's not. And so we bring in batteries and little LEDs. They get to make little sculptures and make them light up. And so we just do that for kids, and we just teach them about the fundamentals of electricity and circuitry and things of that nature.
His success academically and his commitment to the community have earned him National Honor Society status.
You obviously have to be academically inclined. You have to put a lot of focus into your grades and your classes, but it's not just about that, because there are people above me who aren't National Honor Society but above in class rank. You have to be an exemplary student, I guess, somebody that shows what New Tech is about, be the top of your grade, not just in academics but also in what you do outside of class. I do a lot of volunteer work, so it's all a culmination of things to kind of show what New Tech is about.
It means he's an ambassador for his school and for high schools in general.
I'm a part of Champions on Track. It's a program that goes to schools and talks to kids to show them what an exemplary high school student is for middle school and elementary schools, so they can learn the skills to get to that point when they're in their high school career. And I have shown community partners around at New Tech. I don't do it as often as some others because I do have a pretty heavy course load, so I need to stay in class for most of the time.
He's very respectful of his peers. I think he believes in our mission here. I believe that he has really enjoyed his experience here, and I think some of the stuff we do here has allowed him to really pursue those goals and those interests that he has, and so yeah, he makes a great ambassador for our school.
But if you've seen any episodes of Senior Spotlight before, you know we haven't even gotten to the best stuff yet.
I think I really got to know Carter when he started my theater class, and he was just a great asset to me in the classroom because he has a lot of background in theater, and he was really involved with DAPA, Dakota Academy of Performing Arts, and so he was not afraid to make suggestions for games that we should play, or help his classmates with what they might do to improve their own performances. And so he was invaluable to me in the classroom for that reason, not to mention the fact that he's incredibly creative and witty, and I think his peers really enjoy him. Carter was a leader in the sense that he always had great ideas, and especially if somebody was in a group with him, it's almost impossible to not get excited because Carter's excited. The skit that they did was they were supposed to come up. Each group was assigned a decade, and they were supposed to identify a major social issue of that decade. And so Carter's group got the 90s, and so they decided to focus in on Y2K. And they came up with a very clever skit about how it was New Year's Eve, 1999. Carter played Steve Jobs, so he had the black turtleneck and the jeans, and I mean, he just played Steve Jobs perfectly. And Steve Jobs had convinced the world that Y2K was a hoax, but he himself wasn't quite sure. And so it follows that night with Steve Jobs, his assistant, and they've had this press conference to tell the world not to freak out, but he is in his office that night freaking out, thinking that the world just might end, and it's hilarious. And I think he had the inspiration for the story, and his group members just rallied behind him, and they had a hilarious performance. I can still remember the whole audience just laughing hysterically and being really proud, and it just being a real highlight of my year, seeing my students come up with something that I had no involvement in except for giving them feedback and, you know, the task to create a skit, but they came up with it on their own, so that was a really proud moment for me.
Carter has been in front of audiences for a long time, and like robotics, he's turned his love and skill in drama into a way to help others.
Well, I've been doing theater for 11 years now. I started in kindergarten down at the Washington Pavilion with their with DAPA. They do a winter show, and I was just doing that for fun, and I really loved it. I love, like I said, telling a story. I love showing that to the audience, and so I just stuck with it. And now I perform with their traveling acting troupe, the Place for Living. So we travel to schools around the area. Talking about hard-hitting issues. My show that I'm in currently is actually about suicide prevention. So we talk about things like that. We're the first line of defense to the kids. We're the ones who actually speak to them about what they're feeling. And I love being able to make a difference in people's lives through something I love doing.
It's having an impact with students.
My director actually stays back and she talks with the kids about these issues, and she has a discussion. And I've heard of kids who, it makes a difference. At schools, they are able to go to their counselors now and talk about how they're feeling. So I know I'm making a difference, and that's super cool.
Carter has spent a significant amount of time the last couple of years here in the media arts area of the Career and Technical Education Academy.
I interned down at the media arts department, so I really liked taking the classes down there. So I asked my teacher, Mr. Hoffman, if I could intern down there. And so we do a lot of video work for CTE. We shoot promotional videos, PSAs, things like that.
You might think, with his drama background, that Carter's natural inclination would be to be in front of the camera for these projects. But where he equally excels is behind it.
In the internship, they work on independent projects, but they also work on special projects for the school. So recently the CTE Academy had a construction fair, and Carter and a couple other students that are in the internship capstone program went and shot video for it, and then Carter put it all together and made like a little infographic music video of the construction fair. Recently they've been working on a new promo for the CTE Academy. They interviewed several students one day. They're going to go shoot B-roll of all the classes, which is just cover video. And then they're going to put that all together into about an 8 to 10 minute video that's just information about the CTE Academy and trying to get students enrolled out here. Carter's done a little bit of all the projects that involved the course. He made a music video, he made a public service announcement, but his big project was probably a short film. Every year I have students write short films, and then they pitch the film to the rest of the class, and then the class votes on the 2 to 3 films they want to make. Carter's film was voted as one of the films the students wanted to make. I guess I would describe it as a sci-fi action thriller. It's about an alien infiltrating a classroom and 2 students trying to figure out who the alien is. Lots of special effects, lots of lights. We used a fog machine for it. It turned into be a really neat film. Carter directed his film, so he was involved every day with setting up lights, setting up cameras, directing actors, making sure his scripts and sets were the way that he wanted them. I think the biggest challenge for any student that directs the film is working with so many people. Directing sounds really neat until you realize you have to tell, 15 to 20 people what to do every day. And it gets a little overwhelming. Everybody has questions for you. Hey, do you want this light here? Do you want this light there? Where do you want me to start? So every day you're just putting out fires for everybody else and trying to make sure the film gets done right. And I'm sure that was the most stressful thing for him. That's always the thing students underestimate as a director. However, I think Carter thrived in it. He really enjoyed it. He wants to go to school to be a film director, so it didn't stress him out too much. He still enjoyed it. He still really liked the way the film turned out. He edited it after it was done. I think he really enjoyed working with so many people and having a hands-on experience like that.
I really like the ability to tell a story and then to put that into images. I like writing stories, I like drawing, but video is really hands-on, it's really technical, and then you get to make something really cool.
Carter will definitely have a future in filmmaking and video production. One thing about Carter is he dreams big. His ideas are always very elaborate, very involved, lots of sets, lots of costumes. There's been a couple times that I've said, geez, I don't know, you only have a week to get this project done. I don't know if you can get this done. And he's always told me, yeah, I'll be able to do it, Mr. Hoffman. I'll be able to get it done. I have it all planned out. And every time he pulls it off, and that's what really amazes me about him, is his ability to pull off these large productions in a short amount of time. Yes, Carter's a great leader. He leads by example. His ability to pull off large productions, students, I think, see and they appreciate that, and they believe in him. When they're working for him, they know that the final result is going to turn out good because he's going to do the extra work to set up the lights and get the effects and get the costumes that he wants. So they know when they're working with Carter that whatever he wants to get done is going to get done, and it's going to look really great in the end. So they're more than happy to work for somebody that they know the end result's going to be spectacular.
Carter's drive, vision, and ability, coupled with the tools and opportunity at the CTE Academy, open up a world of options.
Short-term, Carter's going to make several more good films. I think in college he'll make a lot of good short films that people will want to be involved in, that people want to be a part of. And I think long-term, you know, as far as he wants to take it, he could take it. He's a great writer, he's a good actor, he's a great director, good editor. And so I think if he wanted to be an actor, he could do that. I think if he wants to direct, he could do that. I think if he wanted to be a screenwriter, he could do that. And I think if he wanted to work as more of the hands-on stuff, to design sets and design props and be a costume designer and stuff like that, I think he could do that. I really think when it comes to the film industry, Carter's going to be able to pick and choose to do whatever he wants to do. I think having the ability to work with all the equipment here at the CTE Academy is really going to set Carter up well in the future. He's going to have advanced knowledge of advanced camera equipment, cutting edge stuff, industry standard stuff, stuff that you'll see on a professional film set, stuff that you'll see on a professional commercial shoot. Nice lights, nice cameras, cranes, gimbals, sliders, most of the stuff that everybody's using today to produce modern videos, whether it's commercials, whether it's documentaries, whether it's professional films. We have a lot of that stuff here that he's been able to work with for the past year and a half. And I think that'll really set him apart from his peers when he gets to college and when he gets into the filmmaking industry. Here at the CTE Academy, we have probably the industry standard in video editing software, the Adobe Creative Suite. And so being able to use that for a year and a half to 2 years before you get into school and not having to learn that is going to be a huge advantage for him. I'm actually a little concerned that some of the projects that he'll get to in college might actually bore him a little bit because they might be entry-level stuff where he'll be far more advanced than that. But once you get past that, I'm sure he'll really excel. And those entry-level projects he'll probably excel at too because he's been through some of them before. So.
Right now I'm looking at colleges, so next year I want to be going in for undergrad for filmmaking. I was recently accepted to the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, and I'm also looking at Boston University, Emerson, and Syracuse University.
Carter's passion for causes and helping others continues through this medium as well. This is a film he made about living with the horrors of war.
I just want to tell you, you're like a brother to me, and I hope I get to see you again.
And into the future, he can use films to talk about tough subjects, like his drama troupe is currently doing.
That's something I could definitely see doing, specifically in documentaries, because I don't think people are documenting things like that well enough. We're not talking about it to the point where we're talking with the kids. We're talking about it after it happens, not while it's happening. And that's something that I'd like to, I guess, show.
As a student, ambassador, volunteer, actor, and filmmaker, Carter is leaving impressions everywhere.
He's a great partner because he's pleasant to be around, he's willing to help. He is a high-level critical thinker, so he can solve problems, and he's really good at reading people as well to understand what they need. He's very much of the artistic brain and creative, and so this class, being PBL, project-based learning, he gets to use that part of his brain a lot. But he's a great student, just in general, a student. When he doesn't understand things, he asks questions. He always has a good mood, good attitude, which makes it really fun to work with Carter. And even though it's not his probably favorite subject to be involved in, he always performs at a high level.
Anytime I do run into Carter, of course I'm always super happy to see him, but I think he's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on because he's got a really exciting future and he's got a lot of goals, and so he's always kind of running around, you know, working on something. So
I'm just most proud of who I am as a person and where I am because of New Tech. I'm really proud of what I figured out about myself and what I've accomplished. I'm really proud of what I've made, specifically down at CTE. I've made a short film, other small projects, but I'm just really proud of what I found about myself because of high school.
Carter has a lot of friends within these classes. I think some of the kids have taken classes mostly because Carter has taken them and he's told them good things about the classes. They've probably seen Carter's work and said, hey, I want to make something to that caliber, that quality. So I think Carter's a good leader in that way, but I also think he's fun to be around. I know he has a lot of friends out here. He gives rides to kids out here. I think he's more than happy to help his friends out when they need it. And I think that helps him as a filmmaker because it's always hard to find actors. And I think because Carter helps so many kids out, kids are willing to help him out and be in his films and do what he needs them to do to get his work done. Carter's been a huge asset to our program. He's produced stuff that I can show other students, that I can show potential students, that I can show parents, and stuff that we're really proud of, that really looks professionally done. He's been a big asset to us. We'll show his work out here for years to come to other students and say, hey, you know, if you come out here and you really want to work at it and you're really involved and you really care about what you do, you'll be able to make films like this as well.
Bernard Mulder and Darwin Scully, if you are to accept these cases, you will officially be part of the FBI. We'd like to formally invite you both to investigate the CT files.